That Nintendo Direct was amazing. A brand new Mario RPG, brand new Zelda game, and the big one that everyone's been waiting for, Metroid Prime 4. I mean, what else, as a Nintendo fan, could you ask for? For the month, by far the best presentation in my opinion. All of this coming before the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now that's a lot for the fan base to have. That's fantastic in my opinion. So I want to break down the important games that were announced, with the first one being the opener, which was of course Mario and Luigi RPG Brothership, which looks absolutely gorgeous. Obviously with Nintendo, always expect the unexpected. This one was a bit of a shock to me because now we've got 3 different Mario RPGs running in tandem, all released within the space of 12 months. Absolute madness. You couldn't have asked for a stronger opener to a presentation. Significantly, obviously, better than the PlayStation presentation was. By a country mile. Next up was Nintendo World Championship. I mean, I like retro games, but playing competitively, sort of less of my thing. So I can definitely see the appeal of the game, but because I'm from the UK, I haven't got the same level of NES nostalgia than an American would. So the next game was Fairy Tail, which I thought looked really rather good. Cannot wait to have a go on that one. And it didn't look a million miles away from a Tales game, and I love the Tales games. Koei Tecmo, also great developer, love their games. Next up was a Hironobu Sakaguchi and a Nobu Uematsu game, Fantasian Neo Dimension. That, to me, looks brilliant. It seems to have turn-based mechanics from the trailer, attacks where you line up your opponents and then fire off your attack to try and kill off as many as possible. Really love the look of that. There was also the Nintendo Switch Sports update. Didn't really care about it personally myself, but I know there's actually quite a lot of people that love the Wii Sports games, so I can see why they would do an update for that game and where the appeal would be for something like that. For me, not really a thing though. The next game that really sort of struck a chord for me was the Looney Tunes sports games. It looked gorgeous with those cel-shaded graphics, looked like a lot of fun, a lot of variety on there, and anything that's a bit Space Jam-esque I quite enjoy. Don't mind that sort of thing at all. A surprise me, sure, but a welcome one. Next was an Among Us update. I don't really care about like Zoomer shooter type games. Not for me, but people seem to really like Among Us, so I can see why they would do it. Donkey Kong returns again this time round. Again, I thought that was quite a cool little update. It really should be called Donkey Kong Returns in my opinion. But yeah, it's an amazing game. I don't really care though, because I've got it on the 3DS as well as having it on the original Wii. So yes, for me personally, I won't be rushing out to go get it for the exact same reason that I didn't rush out to go get Tropic Freeze. I've still got my Nintendo Wii U set up, so I can still play those games. So there's no sense for me to go out and buy something that I can easily access and play right now anyway. But for an end-of-life console game like to be released, like, makes a lot of sense really. I can see why they would do that. That's like a nice little cherry for people for the last few months of the life of the Nintendo Switch. So I can see why they've done it, and I agree with them that they should do it, because there's going to be a lot of people that didn't play that game the first time around, so they've now got an opportunity to play it. Another game that's coming out in the style of Octopath Traveler would be Dragon Quest III. I love JRPGs, so I've pretty much played every Final Fantasy game that there is going. But I have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to Dragon Quest. So for me, this one's a possibility. I do like the look of it. I do think it's strange though to start with 3, but they did announce like a surprise little nugget on the end that they're going to be putting out 1 and 2 next year. So for me personally, I think probably I'll wait for those to come out first and play them in order. But that's just what I'm like. I like to play things in a chronological order. I don't normally like starting in the middle of a series. For me, yeah, I will have a go on it eventually. They're releasing a Funko Pops game. I hate Funko Pops. They make me angry just looking at them. That is like the weirdest cash grab I've ever seen in my life, so I'm totally, completely not interested. There was Luigi's Mansion 2, but we already knew about that. Comes out in just over a week. That's one that I think my children will like. Not really much to say on it. It's a great game. What else do you want me to say? Then we had a Tower Defense Metal Slug game. I can see why it looks like it might have some appeal, but kind of limited with the whole tower defense thing. I don't know. It's something that I think a lot of people will probably like. not me so much, but yeah, I can see why it would have its appeal. Then we had A Link to the Past, Four Swords, Metroid Zero Mission, Turok and Perfect Dark, all coming up to the Switch Online. Nice little additions. And then the big one, which I thought was a particularly cool thing, came up next, which I think it should have been like a bigger, bolder announcement than it really was. And that was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and the other arcade Marvel classics, which weren't available up until now on modern hardware. Like, how they managed to get that with Disney, I don't know. But I cannot believe how underplayed that announcement was. They should have been screaming that one from the rooftops. Like, that one was probably one of my favourite announcements that they did today. I thought that was fantastic. That's a really meaningful, decent announcement there. Like, people have been asking for that one for absolutely years and years and years. Next up, there was a Super Mario Party Jamboree game. So apparently they sell really well, and I know a lot of people do like them, but I'm just in general not a board game person. I've never really been particularly into board games at all, so for me Mario Party is not one that I would jump up to get, but again, it's like a nice little announcement. Takes up to 20 players online, so if you're into that sort of thing, I can see why that would be a lovely little bonus. The next up was The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So a cutesy looking little Zelda game where Link disappears, and instead in this one you're going to actually play as Zelda, which really switches up the gameplay. So they've gone to a huge amount of effort on this one to basically change the gameplay to suit how Zelda would do it. She fights using a wand where she can basically make echoes of more or less anything around her. They kept this rather quiet, but I'm not going to lie. The first thing it made me think of was Wand of Gamelon. It really, really, really reminds me of Wand of Gamelon. Expect the unexpected when it comes to Nintendo. Absolutely incredible. Very, very bold move. Wand of Gamelon and CDI Zelda game jokes aside, normally if this was like a Sony presentation, then people would be screaming DEI, DEI over this, but because it's Nintendo, I've got to say it comes across as much more sort of fresh and innovative than it would have done otherwise. Like, it's almost like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. I'm not saying that it's plays like that. It doesn't look like that at all. It's just where they're trying something new. And Treasure Tracker I actually really love, and I'm hoping I'm going to love this game because it looks cool. I love it. That's a bit of me. The next one was a pleasant little surprise, Stray. I recently beat it on the PlayStation 5 with my children. They absolutely love it. They gave the cat a name because they noticed it didn't have a name. My children have called it Huggle Muffin. If you haven't had a go on that game already, do give it a go. It's actually quite a pleasant little game. It's like not the most difficult game in the world, but it's got some interesting puzzles. I like it. I thought it was a really nice little game. Some of it's like a little bit scary, but it's not like inappropriate for children or anything like that. So I'm not surprised that that game has made it to the Nintendo platform. That doesn't surprise me at all. It seemed like a very sort of Nintendo game. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. And the fact that I'm now going to be able to play it on the go, very happy with that. Next up was Tales of the Shire, which made me really, really laugh. Like, I just thought, what is this? What is this? It looks cute, looks fun. Basically, I love The Lord of the Rings. I've read all the books. I've read the accompanying books for it. It's just it's something that I really, really enjoy, and the game looks cutesy and silly. The idea of it just made me laugh. It just seemed ridiculous. It's a strange one. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be tempted to give that one a go. I liked the look of it. The Ace Attorney games are coming to the platform. I have to admit, I have never had a go on any of those games. Never had a go on them at all, but I might give them a go this time round, maybe. I can't tell you why they made me think of this, but they did. They remind me, for some reason, of Egoraptor. It's not even an Ace Attorney game that it's reminding me of. It's the one where he's made the cartoon taking the mick out of the hospital game, where the only bit that sticks in my head was Doctor, which is, oh, that really takes me back. But anyway, next up was a very interesting looking strategy RPG called Last Defense Academy. I will be buying that. I'm telling you now. I will buy that and I will play that and I will play it and play it and play it and play it. I love the look of that. Thought it looked great. Next up was Romancing Saga 2. Full remake. Looks excellent. Really solid. For an RPG lover, that presentation was brilliant. I've got to say it was brilliant for an RPG lover. Something I just want to point out quickly is that none of the games in this presentation looked like any of the games in the PlayStation presentation. There was none of this like hyper realistic looking stuff. There was so much variety. Everything just looked fresh and different. It was so much more varied and diverse than the PlayStation presentation. Like, I really hope that PlayStation look at this one as well and are like, we've fucked up. But I digress. The main event, the one thing that we've all been waiting for, Metroid Prime 4, which feels like it was announced like 7 years ago or something. We've been waiting forever for this title. So I thought that was lovely. Right in sort of like the last few months of the Switch's lifespan, I thought that was a lovely little announcement. I can tell probably a lot of people in the world are probably jumping up and down with delight for that. So very good, very happy. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are absolutely delighted by that announcement. They only gave us a very small look at that. They confirmed it's coming next year. It wouldn't surprise me if that ends up being a Switch 2 launch title, because that's like a really special thing to go on there. That would be a really, really nice launch title for the Switch 2. So overall, yes, very good experience. I thought that Nintendo Direct was very good. Definitely the best presentation of the bunch, in my opinion anyway. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe, give me a like and leave me a comment down below with your thoughts and opinions on the Nintendo Direct that just happened. And if you fancy having up to 90% off of a brand new game, then please click on my Instant Gaming affiliate link down in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you very much, and I shall see you around in the next one.